Welcome to Brothers of Men. I'm Jeffrey Russell. Thank you for joining us. Elections, voting, something that the human race has known in one fashion or another since the Greeks. But how has the way we go about these things changed? In ancient Greece, there was a council that handled the passing of laws, infrastructure, and disputes. We have come a long way for certain. A simple raising of the hand or a shout of aye or nay is still used today. But voting by the people has been the center of controversy for as long as it has been around. In the past, we had simple paper ballots that were usually placed in a box that was located in municipal buildings of one kind or another. Rigging elections was something that had to be done physically and usually took a team of several people, including people on the inside. Ballot tuffing was the term used for election fraud, and it's pretty self-explanatory. The first electronic voting machines were hole punch tabulating machines used first by 7 states in 1964, and we have become rapidly less and less reliant on human hand counting since the introduction of the voting machine. Now, removing the human aspect of elections sounds like a good idea, right? Computers don't get tired or have any party bias, and they don't make mistakes. So having machines do the tabulating seems to be the most effective and reliable way to have votes counted, right? Well, maybe. Let's take a look into how this works. So you go into your booth and cast your vote. Now, assuming there was no vote flipping or any other funny business, your vote was cast. Your vote is captured as an image and saved in a database, and your vote is sent to a tabulation hub somewhere in your state. All of the votes are counted at least once, and there you have your election results. Now, in recent years, there has been concern of hacking into counting systems. Fortunately, there is no need to hack into the system because the software on over 70% of our voting machines can do all of the work for you. All you have to do is enter the numbers desired. Now, there are variables in voting that unfortunately no one can predict. How many people will vote and how, whether it be by absentee ballot, voting machine, etc. Fortunately for those in control, nothing is left up to chance, and these things aren't needed to be known in order to affect voting numbers. Bev Harris, a female Democrat, founder of blackboxvoting.org, has teamed up with Bennie, a computer whiz from Memphis, Tennessee, and with his help they discovered what is being called fraction magic, or the magic key. Bennie uncovered software that counts votes like you would money, with a decimal. This software allows you to go into any election in any state, any county, all the way down to the precinct, and put in place caps in order to keep a candidate from getting more votes than desired. I'll place the link to the video in the description below. So how could this work without being noticed? Because it was designed to work silently and without a trace. And when it's all done doing its job, it rounds up the decimals, or rounds up or down to make them disappear. So let's say you wanted to fix a local election. You simply go into the voting tabulation system and search for the election you're looking for. All of the information about every election is gathered up by the software, the candidates, the districts, and every precinct in the system. Once you have picked the race, you can simply go in and tell the computer what percentage of votes to give the candidates. So if you wanted to give 50% of the vote to candidate A, 43 to B, and 7 to C, the computer would adjust using decimals the number of votes given to each candidate. Then it simply rounds the votes up or down when it's over in order to hide it, because one vote can't be broken up into parts, at least not without this software. So this raises many questions about our elections. Who has access to this software? Who wrote it? And who are they being paid by? Obviously, not everyone can have access to something like this, or it would be like doing a last-minute bid on eBay. The people who know about this clearly have control over who accesses it in order to change votes. Now, to bring up the election of this November, exit polls show that Trump got about 50% of the vote, while Hillary only got about 35%. So how could the exit polls, which are the measuring stick of the amount of voter fraud taking place in any election, show numbers like this? But according to the media, Clinton won the popular vote by about 700,000 votes. Things just don't add up. And with this recount coming up in 3 major swing states, it makes me wonder if this software could be used to change the votes during the recount. There have been many election investigations regarding election fraud since the late 90s. and it makes me wonder how many elections have been fixed using this software or other scams like it. Hillary Clinton, who stated that not accepting our election results was a threat to our democracy. So then why has she joined Jill Stein in supporting this recount? Isn't she then threatening our democracy? We need to return to paper ballots. We need to have confidence in our elections, because without that, we are not a republic or democracy. We are a monarchy, with the crown being passed to selected stewards instead of elected officials. Paper ballots might take a little bit more manpower, but isn't that worth it, knowing that they're harder to fix? Don't you want to know that your vote counts and that it cannot be changed by a simple click of the mouse or stroke of the key? We have reached a crossroads and the people need to decide. Are we going to have our free choice or have our choices taken from us? I hope you take the time to watch this video at blackboxvoting.org and see the horror of how easy it has become to take elections away from the people. Now, some of you may be asking the obvious question. If vote rigging is real and was used in the election in Hillary's favor, how did Trump pull out the win? The answer is really simple. The software needed to steal the election is only in about 70% of the voting machines, and not every state uses voting machines. I know where I am, we used paper ballots. So that means that the turnout for Trump was so big that we basically outvoted the voting machines. Like water going over the top of the dam, there was just too much for the system to hold it all back. It was going to be a close race, so they might have had Hillary win by, say, 3 or 4 points. Well, since the other 30% they have little to no control over, that 30% made up the difference, plus some, which is why they say it's hard to beat a landslide. So draw your own conclusions, do your own research, but don't think for a minute that the elite will completely ignore the vote of the people in order to get what they want. It's what they've been doing for decades. Thank you for watching. I hope you will go watch the demonstration videos at blackboxvoting.org. This has been Brothers of Men. I'm Jeffrey Russell. Be good to each other. Thank you.